Welcome. Today we're going to be analyzing the demand and cost of our familiar local business, Whippy Dip. So I'm just going to go over a few things about Whippy Dip if you guys are not already aware of them. They are a walk-up / drive-through ice cream shop. They are located on Main Street here in Mason, Ohio. They are a local Mason business, so they're popular among Mason families, especially Mason students. They are known specifically for their soft serve ice cream and their creative, friendly design. So they'll put gummy worms or like googly eyes on it to make it more kid friendly. And then they also have reasonable prices, and it's kind of a hangout spot, like I said, because it's popular among students. And there's also no online presence, so you can't order ice cream online. So some of their fixed cost for Whippy Dip would include rent. They're always gonna have to pay that one-time rent each month. Same goes with electricity, with insurance also. That's just a thing that comes with owning a business. And then machines, ice cream makers, they're gonna buy it one time, and because they're always gonna need it in order to make the ice cream. And then moving on to variable costs, these are different from fixed costs because variable costs change based on the level of output, whereas fixed costs do not. Like I said, they will always remain the same. Variable costs, labor, you're gonna have different employees, you're gonna have to be paying them at different times depending on how many workers you need. And then ice cream is a variable cost because they are only open between a certain amount of the month, and they're gonna be selling more ice cream in June and July, so the summer months, and they are going to be when it gets closer to winter time and it gets colder outside. Same thing goes for toppings and the ice cream bowls / cups. So the ice cream and the bowls go hand in hand with each other. There's gonna be rain damage. It rains a lot here in Mason, and we also have pretty heavy storms. So if those somehow damage the building, that's gonna be a random variable cost that they will have to account for. And then hot dog buns. I didn't know Whippy Dip sold hot dogs, so that could also be a variable cost because they're not gonna be selling as much hot dog buns because it's not as well known on their menu. So can you guys name one more fixed cost and one variable cost that we did not already mention here? So now we're going to be looking at a supply and demand graph for soft serve ice cream, specifically in the month of July. Now the big clue here is in July, so we know that demand is going to increase. Label that D1, that's the new demand curve, because more people are going to want more ice cream when it's hotter outside. A lot of people want ice cream during the summertime, which is the month of July. We're going to draw the new quantity and the new price. We're going to label price P1, the new quantity Q1, and we're going to draw our arrows so that we show price increases and quantity increases. Once again, because of demand, the shifter is taste and preferences, so that's merit, the T1.
So these are the characteristics of a perfect competition. So one of them is the number of firms. So there's many firms, so there's about like 1,000. They're price takers, which means that they don't set the price. They take what the market has with their competition. They're good as like a commodity, which means that it's the same exact good as their competitors. And there's easy entry, which means that there's not, you don't have to have a lot to start this company. So then the characteristics that Whippy Dip has that are similar to perfect competition is not many firms, because given that we're doing local businesses, there's about 3 soft serve ice cream places around here, not including like Graders or UDF, because that's not soft serve. And then they are price takers because there's only a certain amount that they can set soft serve ice cream prices for that people will still buy. And then it's not a commodity because it's not the exact same as competitors, as Whippy Dip does like faces on their ice cream, and they have different flavors. And then it's not easy entry because you need like machines and you need the building, and so that requires money to get started. So for our national marketing plan, our first idea was to franchise it. So this is creating another storefront. It doesn't even have to be in Ohio, to just increase the population of people that are going to Whippy Dip and increase foot traffic. And then the other idea was advertising / sponsoring. So at Mason, when a company will sponsor an event, we put their name on the back of our t-shirt. So that's a good way to increase awareness, and then also like sponsoring or like advertising. They could include like coupons or something to increase the number of people that are going to Whippy Dip. And then our other idea was ice cream truck, so bringing the ice cream to people. So in like, especially in the intermediate school, ice cream trucks would come like the cone, and so that would be a good way for to get sales where kids don't necessarily have to find a ride to Whippy Dip to get the ice cream.
To show the change in the market demand for Whippy Dip, if we were to make it a national franchise, would be that the demand would be going way up, because we all know that the acronym MERIT, the M stands for market size, and the market size is going to increase by a ton, obviously, if we go from being local to national business. So that demand is going to go up, which is going to cause price and quantity to go up. And as you can see, that brings Mr. Darp over here way up, which means that marginal revenue, that line is going to be intersecting marginal cost way higher than what it would be down here if we just had that normal one, which means that you're going to bring in a lot more revenue, which is going to increase Mr. Darp for the firm. And then moving on, if we were to see a change in the price of the ice cream, and I'm talking about the input ice cream that Whippy Dip has, because if you guys don't know, the Whippy Dip ice cream, we actually buy that stuff as like it's like a liquidy, almost like milk thing, and then it's put into the ice cream machines, and that's how the soft serve is actually made. So one of those variable cost is actually buying the ice cream. You don't know how much you're going to buy, so it's always going to be a variable cost. And then if the price of that ice cream were to increase, that would increase your average variable costs, as you can see here, moving from AVC, which starts right there, starts right here, AVC, and then moving that up all the way up to AVC1. And then if you're increasing AVC, we already know average total cost goes up, because average total cost is just your AVC plus your AFC. So that means that with how much that goes up, because we're in a perfectly competitive market, which means that this price is going to stay the exact same. They're not going to be able to change that. And if our variable costs are going up so high, because ice cream, which is obviously the number one thing that you need to buy being an ice cream producing company, so that means your average variable costs are going to skyrocket, your total cost is going to skyrocket, and it's going to move it above that price line, but you can't move the price up because you're in a perfectly competitive market, which is actually going to cause, since this AVC is above Mr. Darp, that's going to cause the shutdown for the company. They're not going to be able to operate because, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to sell their ice cream for a higher price, but the price of the ice cream is going to have to go up if they want to stay in business.